Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to do a quick flip through of my Kate Spade pocket planner. So I hope it's quick, but sometimes I talk a lot. Sorry about that. I just wanted to talk about the planner a little bit. So this planner has probably been discontinued for a couple of years. Kate Spade stopped selling planners with this snap closure for a while. So in order to find something like this, you'll have to look on like eBay or Poshmark. Right now they sell, Kate Spade sells planners with a zip closure, or they're usually like a paper bound agenda. So there are quite a few right now on eBay or Poshmark from what I've seen, and I actually purchased this myself for $19 off of Poshmark, and that was an absolute steal. One of the main reasons why I like this planner is because it keeps me productive, and the fact that it's only $19, maybe a couple more dollars for shipping, is just it's just great. So I love this planner. In the past, I've actually had other Kate Spade pocket and personal size planners, but I never used them because I was always afraid of getting them damaged, scratching them, or spilling something on them. And so I usually kept them in some sort of protective bag, and I hardly ever took them out. And I hardly ever took them outside because they were so much bigger. The reason why I like this one is because it's textured here, so if you do get a scratch, you don't really see it. I throw it in my bag all the time. I never worry about it. The turn lock here does get scratched, and I found that I just don't care. It matters more to me that I can use it and it keeps me productive, because otherwise what's its use, right? So I have other planners that I probably don't take out ever, but this one I always take out with me, and it's only because I find that it's been cheap. I can use it so well and so easily, and it keeps me on track, so that's all that I need. So to finally get into the planner itself, in order to turn it, to open it, you usually turn the turn lock here to keep it closed, but it keeps leaving a little groove right there, and it kind of annoys me just a little bit, so a lot of times I'll just leave it like this, where it's not locked, but it doesn't open as easy, so I usually stick it like this in my purse. But obviously, in order to lock it, it's like that. In order to unlock it, just turn it. You lift this little snap out, or this little strap here. So the pens that I keep in here are the Pentel Energel in 0.5. It's a black pen. I love this pen. And then a gray zebra mild liner. So I use this to highlight the important things and also cross off things that I've gotten finished. So when I finish a task, I'll usually highlight it so I know that I finished it. So to start, I'll just start in the pocket. So usually I don't like to keep anything here. Sometimes I'll keep little business cards here so that I have someone to pull out, but usually I keep this pretty plain. In the pockets here, I just have a little note card that my husband drew for me. I just laminate it and keep it in here. And the second thing is something I use to keep my sticky notes. So I love using sticky notes. It's a pop of color, and it helps me stay organized. And it's kind of like a mess in here, and a lot of times it'll just fall apart. All the sticky notes will get everywhere. I just don't care. I just keep them in here, stick them in this pocket, and take it out when I need to use it. I could probably make something better that doesn't, like when I open it, all the sticky notes don't fly everywhere, but I just don't mind. So this is a pretty full planner. I wished I could get bigger rings, and I actually looked into it. I'm not sure that bigger rings will help me. If I do have bigger rings, the rings will stick out more, and the planner just doesn't open as wide as I need it to. There's no like square. It's round here rather than flat and square, so that even if I did put bigger rings in here, I don't think I'd fit more, and I would like to fit more, but this is what I have, and I love it enough that I don't care to change it. But as you can see, it is pretty full, so a lot of times when I'm flipping through it, I will have to adjust the planner like this so that I can turn the page easier. I don't mind it because a lot of times I'm actually in the middle of the planner, something like this, and so it doesn't really bother me. You can turn pages very easily in the middle of the planner. That's where I am most of the time. So to start, this is a piece of transparency paper that you use on an overhead projector. If you know what that is, props to you, because that is an old thing that I used to love using, but they used to write on these transparency pieces of paper and project it onto the screen at school. And I just took this piece of paper, printed on it, and I cut out this pattern so that I can stick it in the front of my planner. I don't know, I just use it to protect the front page, otherwise it rubs against these pockets here, and so it just serves its purpose being in the front. I don't know if you can tell off camera, but there are scratches here, so that helps a lot. I have a piece of scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby here. I did forget to say this little piece of paper here is from Hobby Lobby. It's a speckled print and it's just one of the scrapbook pieces of paper. I also used it here and I use this for a folder. So you can open it, and then all I keep in here for now is just a $2 bill. I feel that $2 bills are a little bit rare. I used to get them a lot when I was younger for Chinese New Year. But I got this from my dad and 2 is my favorite number, so I like to keep this in here like a good luck charm. So I just have that little folder there, and I just keep stuff in there. Sometimes I'll keep concert tickets and stuff in there. The next thing I have is just a couple of note sheets. So I do have a note section in the back of my planner, but I like to keep them up here for things that I want to keep a list of. So for one example, I am trying to find an e-commerce site. I'm going to switch over my business. Right now it's email only. And so I want to try to get an e-commerce site open, so that might open up a lot of time for me, but I have to decide which one I want to go to. So I keep this list in here. These are for things that I need to look into, but I don't have the time yet. I also have certain wish lists here for things I need to buy and things like that, so I just keep that up front so I don't lose it. So the next thing I have is just a piece of vellum that I use to cover 6 months of the 2019 calendar. So I have 6 months here, and then I have another 6 months here. So I just keep that there for reference. The next thing I have is this piece of acetate that has a sort of a silhouette of a rose. This I got from AC Moore, and I just print my register here. So if I ever lost my planner, here's some of my personal information. I'm just covering it because obviously it's my personal information. And then you go into my first tab here, which is monthly. And this is just a piece of cardstock paper that I also got from Hobby Lobby that I just made into a divider. So with my monthly inserts, I want to talk a little bit about my inserts. I wanted to use some of those Filofax inserts that are out there, and I couldn't because actually Kate Spade uses 3x5 size inserts, and that's the same that's the same as a index card. And I really like the inserts for Filofax because they're a little bit wider and they're not as tall, and so it gives me more space to write across, because sometimes it's really hard to write on the smaller space when the width is so small. But I had to create my own because I didn't want it to run into this pen loop. You can see that if I put the pen in here, there's barely any space for inserts to go. This was fully closed and the inserts were wider. So I just made my own, and all of these are ones that I made myself. Just to let you know if you were interested, I'm sorry, these are ones that I made for myself. So to go into one of the monthly inserts, I noticed that I didn't highlight here, but I highlighted here, so I'll have to do that later. But for my monthly inserts, all I have here is just the calendar here, and then I have Monday to Wednesday, and then Thursday, Saturday, and then Sunday here. I don't mind Sunday being on this own separate little piece because I hardly ever do anything important on Sunday. So if there is, I'll just write it here, but otherwise I could just look here mostly. I do have a little note section here in case something important happens or I need to remind myself of something. For instance, if I need to schedule a doctor's appointment in this month, I'll write that down in here and then I'll remember to do it. I also have this flap here, and it's for important dates, and I really liked having this because sometimes I don't want to read every little thing that's in this calendar. Sometimes I just want to know when that date is. So again, if it's a doctor's appointment, I can write it down on the 20th, and then I know that it's the 20th from looking at this list. Sometimes too, there's just such little space here for a monthly calendar in this pocket planner, so it helps save space. Sometimes I'll just write in a short abbreviation and I'll write the full date here. So that's helped me a lot. The next section I have is weekly, so I do have a monthly, weekly, and then daily section. It helps me stay organized in different ways. So for this weekly insert, I have it on one page, but I also have this little flap here that I keep tasks. So these are usually for tasks that are more like floating tasks. Like I don't need to do it on a specific day, but that I know that I need to get it done. So I'll write them down here, and then I can cross them off in this little box here. And then usually I'll put certain things here, but then I'll put tasks here. So the only thing I don't like about this setup is that if I have this week here, the page closes like this. This will be an empty blank page for the tasks, and then I'll write them in here. But then when you turn to the next week, I use the same flap, but when it's closed, it'll have the previous week's task. So I've just gotten used to it. I know that in order for me to see that week, I have to open it, and then I see the task here. So it's not a huge deal, something I just learned to deal with because I didn't want to remake the inserts. So for my page market on my daily section, I use just this piece of vellum. It's the same vellum that I use in my yearly insert just to cover it. I just laminated it and then use it as a page marker by just cutting slits in it. So this is where I feel like the magic happens. This is where I plan everything for the day and I'm able to write everything I need to do and then check them off and know that I've done them, and I am fairly productive when I'm using the system. So what I like about it most is that when I'll write in the day, I'll write in certain tasks I need to do. If I need to expound on it, I'll write a little bit here. One example is my husband and I are looking for homes, and so I'll write home showing and then I'll write the address of the home here. Or just like if I need to do like a certain task and when to do it or how to do it, I'll also write the date. If we need to do a certain thing at a certain time, I'll also write the date here. I'll write, meet with X, Y, and Z, or meet with so-and-so, and then I'll write the time. I also have a section for notes, and so I'll write little notes that I might want to use to remember the day or things I need to do that might be in the future. So I might have some sort of note that I'll write down here. And the reason why I like this so much actually is that there's hardly any excess space for decoration or things that I need to do to make it look pretty. I actually don't care if it looks pretty, and sometimes if I only have 1 or 2 things to do for the day, I am actually fine with it. It doesn't matter if it looks blank. Sometimes in other planners that I've used, when it looks blank in there, I kind of feel like I haven't done enough. So a lot of times I'll stick sticky notes here too, so that gives a little bit of decoration. So here are some examples of dailies I've had in the past. I use a lot of sticky notes, and obviously I will check them off with a highlighter here when I finish a task, and that helps me stay really motivated because I like at the end of the day to go and check off the things that I've done and highlight it, because that makes it look so much prettier and makes me feel so productive. So the key here is being productive, I guess, because before I would use a planner, but I wouldn't write things down because I didn't know if I would do it or not on that time, on that date, whatever. So the system has really helped me a lot, and I owe a lot of my success to this. Moving on, my next section is personal. So I have a workout tracker here, so I'm starting to lift weights again, and it sucks. It hurts. I'm always sore, but I need to do it, and I know I need to do it. When I weightlift, I usually put the things that I'm doing down here on this tracker, and when I'm in the gym though, I have my phone and I write down everything on my phone in a note. Then I like to transfer it to some sort of notebook, and I have this system here where I have a date and then the workout. But I found that I don't like filling out the workout here because it doesn't always fit. I usually do a lot more exercises than fits here, and I haven't found a system that I liked, and this isn't working for me, so I am trying to find another thing to do to log my workouts. Probably just a notebook that's coordinated or something, but I do need to get rid of these because I don't like them. My next thing is this period tracker. I just like to highlight which days I have it, and I just circle it. The next insert is my reading list. So I'm trying to read 12 books this year, and I'm so far on my 6th book. I'm reading Great Expectations. I've read it before, I'm just trying to read it again, but I'm taking a long time because it's just harder to get through. I am trying to read more in general, so I do have a little more space to read more books. Here I have a yearly pullout that I like to keep, like more important dates when we're traveling, when we're doing something important. I just like to note it here. I'll write birthdays here too, so that I don't forget them. I can look at this every now and then, see when birthdays are coming up. Well, I have 2 more of those workout sheets, so I'll probably get rid of those. My next thing is this tracker for steps. So my goal this year is to have 10,000 steps a day. And so far I've actually succeeded at doing that, and I actually get more steps than needed. And so I want 10,000 steps on average every day. So some days I won't get the full 10,000, but so far I have. I'm just trying to bank up some of the steps for days that I can't walk. Like I have some oral surgery planned, I can't exercise on those days. So I am trying to bank up more steps for that. But I have the month here and then the number of days here, and then I write in the number of steps I have, and then for every box here it represents 1,000 steps. So if I get 10,000 steps, I get to fill in 10 boxes here. And I have to say that that has really motivated me to keep on track with my goals. I really enjoy like filling in those boxes when I get those dates, and that has just helped me achieve my goals. I have a year's worth of inserts printed out, but I only have 6 months in here for now. So I do have a Roth IRA, and every now and then I'll check what the balance in there is. It changes all the time. You're not supposed to check them very often, otherwise it might make you sort of feel a roller coaster of emotions, because sometimes it's higher and then sometimes it actually goes down a lot. So I just like to look in there every 6 weeks or 2 months or so whenever I remember, and I just write down what the amount is in there. I have the same for a traditional IRA. So here I have an inspection record for my rings. I do have warranties on them and I need to bring them in every 6 months. So I just have a tracker for that. The last time I went was January. And we'll have to go again in July. So when July comes, I'll check that and then I'll put the date that I actually got it inspected. And every 6 months I like to get my rings dipped again. I'm rough on my rings. I probably shouldn't. I've already lost a diamond off my band here. And I like to record when I get something serviced. So for this year, I got the band, the diamond replaced, and I also got the rings dipped and cleaned. Every 6 months when I get them inspected, I like to leave them to get re-dipped because, like I said, I'm rough on my rings and I wear them when I'm weightlifting and when I'm doing dishes. I probably shouldn't, but I do like to get them nice and shiny every 6 months. So I have that here just to log that. And then I have information on my rings here. The jewelers that I go to, they are not always the easiest to work with, so I like to have all my information here so that I can just pull it up if they can't find it. My next section is home, so this is where I keep things related to home, and I don't really have that many things in here, but I like to keep this grocery list. It's laminated, and I can just pull it out very easily and put it back in easily also. So if I'm in the grocery store and I don't want to take out my planner, then I'll just rip these out and then I'll have them on top of my shopping cart. I usually go by the section that I'm entering the store into, so usually it's the produce section first, and then I go through a certain route through the store and I have things sort of entered in that sort of order. I don't do it by store because we tend to go to the same stores anyway, and either case, usually the layout's fairly similar. Usually you have produce on one side and dairy on another side, usually, and then, you know, the way that I do it is I write the number of things that I need here, and then I'll sometimes write an X here if I've done it. If I need to go to a different store, I won't put the X there, and I know I need to get it in another store. Say for whatever reason they ran out in one store, I'll know what the things I've gotten and what I haven't. It's really easy to use because I was sick of getting index cards or note pieces of paper and writing all the things that we needed and then losing it. I've lost it many times and forgotten things that I needed to get. So I just thought this was an easy way to save paper and keep the list on hand. So this is something that helps me a lot, and I don't know, I thought this was a great idea. If you tend to buy the same things over and over, this is great. I do have a section where it's just other, so I'll write in things that I don't have in here. Like right now, batteries. When I'm done with it, actually, I just take some rubbing alcohol and I just wipe it off and it comes off easy. I do write this in with a Sharpie though, so I do have a Sharpie for that, but I keep that on my desk. The next section that I have is actually what I use to record the homes that we have looked at. So we've looked at a number of home showings. I think we've done over 25 so far. And what I like to use this for is I just like to write the address, the asking price. Sometimes the prices are adjusted, like they lowered the price on the home. I'll usually write that down over here somewhere. I have pros, cons, and then the final selling price. And one thing I've learned from this is that in the area that we're in, it's a seller's market, and unfortunately homes are getting what they're asking for. Whether that's high or low, it tends to be that the homes that are newer or remodeled are going fairly quick. So we've actually gotten into many situations where the home was listed within a day, there's multiple home showings, and offers were needed by 6 p.m. that same day or the next day. So homes fly actually really quick, and we were afraid that homes were going for more than the asking price. So after listing all the homes that we've seen, some homes that didn't sell so quick and other homes that did, I've noticed that the homes are not actually getting asking price all the time. There might be one or two instances where the home did get more than they were asking, but that was really rare. More often than that, homes got what they were asking for, and a lot of times homes were not getting what they were asking for. So that was something that was surprising to me, and something that I remind myself when we were discussing offers for a home, that, you know, although the market is a little bit easier for the sellers, they are not necessarily getting every dollar that they're asking for, and that helps us when we're trying to be smart about our money. So, you know, I didn't mean to go on that long about that, but that is something that's really benefited from tracking. My last section here is notes here, and this is sort of like a catch-all. I used to keep the notes that are here in the front, in the back, but I just moved those up front so I can see them easier. So this list here is for some Canon lenses that I'm looking at. Their L series lenses are very nice, but also very expensive. So I'm trying to purchase one or two this year, and I'm just trying to figure out which ones I get. So in trying to determine these lenses, I've had pros and cons and things like that I list on the other side of this card. So I'm just trying to decide what I should do, which lens should I buy first, things like that. Behind that I have a folder here that I created that I just keep coupons in. A lot of times those coupons expire quickly, but I usually go through it fairly quickly to see what coupon I have and whether I can use it or not. So the last thing I have is this these note pages here, and I just keep them here in case I need to scribble down something really quickly. So this here is what I use to keep on the back of my planner so that these pages here don't curl underneath the rings when I have it so full. Sometimes when your planner is full and a lot of those pages get stuck behind there, the edges curl. So I just keep this here so that it doesn't do that as much. It's a fairly thick piece of plastic. I actually bought this from the Dollar Tree. It's supposed to be a cutting board. I just thought this would be great. It's really thick, and I just cut it down to fit in my planner. And in this back pocket, I just, this one's blank. I usually keep notes, blank note sheets here that have already been punched, hole punched, and I keep that in here. And then I keep extra daily sheets here in case I need more. And so that is my planner. I just like to tuck this in here so that I don't lose it. And then I just close it up and do that. And so it's really compact, and I like to keep it on me at all times so that I can write things down, little notes that I need. Tabs are great. So I hope you liked this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below. If you're interested in more videos like this, please subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day.